I'm sorry, Cancers. I had to do y'all's on part 2. I tried to hit the pause button, but I stopped it instead. But I still have all the cards laid out here. So we were still on the energy where, we need to set some kind of boundaries because, it looks like the person that we're with is just taking advantage of you. But we were going in to check on, get some more energy for this. What's the vibe for this other Cancer placement? What's the vibe for the other Cancer placement? What's the self-neglect and social feeling of love, pent-up anger for my other Cancer placement? What is this energy? What is this energy, Spirit? What is this energy for my Cancer feeling this way? Waves, emotions, worry, fear. So yeah, you literally are just going with emotions. And it's like you don't have any positive emotions in you anymore. It's like it's all worry, it's all fear, it's all doubt. Always, head in the clouds, just like I said, just waiting for the day to end for a new day to begin. See, this could be a family dynamic, which is why, like I said, you could feel the self-neglect and social. You just so tied up in the home life, which is not healthy at all. Because we were someone before we became parents, and we're gonna be someone when our babies grow up and become parents or little adults, whatever the next step in their life is. So we need to remember to not let go of ourselves, but to continue building on ourselves while we develop our families and things like that. And if we need some help, we should be able to ask for that. If we're not able to ask for that out of our partner, like I said, that partner has got to go and face the consequences of having kids with you without wanting to pull their part if this is the situation. So I know it's easier said than done. I went through it, going through it. But when you get to the point where you look in the mirror and you barely know yourself, when your alarm clock go off and you just like, oh my goodness, it's daytime again, I just wanted to sleep. You just kind of want to sleep your days away, sleep your night away. And say all you do is check off lists, do chores, pick up kids, do hair, just all about doing something for someone else. Like that's not how life's supposed to be. Everyone has a purpose out here, and it is not to just invest in other people and let go of ourselves. That is not the goal for anyone. Alright, sweet. What's your advice on this? What's your advice for my Cancer going through this? What's your advice for my Cancer going through this? Your advice for my Cancer going through this? Advice for my Cancers going through this here. What's your advice for my Cancers going through this? Do a 30-day challenges. Force yourself to do something new for 30 days to form a new habit. I have never seen this card before. But do a 30-day challenge, Cancer. Force yourself to do something for 30 days to form a new habit. And I'm going to add on something for yourself. Add on for yourself at the end. Okay. Let's see, what's our ancestors' messages on this? Alright, ancestors, what is your messages for my Cancers? What's your messages for my Cancers? Message for my Cancer going through this second energy. What's your advice for my Cancer going through this second energy? Advice for my Cancers. Advice for my Cancers. Advice for Cancer placements. Advice for Cancer placements. Advice for Cancer placements. Okay. We got the Son of Baskets, and we got ancestors out here. So the Son of Basket is like the Knight of Cups. And then we have the ancestors. What is ancestors? I think that's the Death. Let me check. Let me just go in. Okay. Son of Baskets. Let's go see what. Now we're going to start with ancestors because that's the major arcana. Okay. So, yeah, it's Death. Ancestors. The Eye. I just want y'all to see this card. Okay. So, the eye that mocketh at his father and despiseth to obey his mother. The ravens of the valley shall pick it out, and the young eagle shall eat it. Proverbs 30:17. The plant for the ancestors is a flower of stone. The image. A happy baby is lying in a crib. Though her form is young, there is a part of her that is very old. The half of her face that is skeletal reflects this eternal connection with the ancestors. Ancestor veneration is one of the least discussed but most ubiquitous features of human life since time immemorial. Though the aesthetics of ancestral veneration vary depending on the culture, there are few people who feel comfortable with their dead just being dead. Instead, humans have created hundreds of other dimensions for their souls to inhabit, where they may or may not be accessible to the living. In Hoodoo, we may have access to any spirit of the dead if the deceased is willing and we are skilled enough to make and maintain contact. It was quite common in both indigenous American and African cultures to consult the ancestors via various methods of divination, channeling, or meditation. For those in the community who had the skill and the authority to do so, the death of the family members was no excuse to begin excluding them from the affairs of the nation's rites and rituals, nor from accepting their input regarding the major life decisions of their living relations. In the traditional mind, neither time nor space could separate us from our kin. Ancestral veneration, however, is much deeper than lighting candles, attending special events, or asking questions now and then. Ancestral veneration, in its most traditional sense, is supposed to inform our behavior on a daily and continual basis. It's about knowing, honoring, and defending one's bloodline. It's about personifying the most esteemed values of your foremothers and forefathers and doing one's best to add on positively to your family's legacy. It's about reflecting on and identifying how our parents' and grandparents' actions affected our lives and considering how our decisions could affect our great-grandchildren tomorrow. Wow, that was a lot. Okay, so the meaning. Death is not a subject most Westerners or Western educated people like to discuss. It's an event that will happen to each and every one of us, yet it is considered morbid, weird, or taboo to spend any time contemplating it. It cannot be spring, summer, or fall forever. Eventually, the end must come to make way for something new. Death is just the beginning of that something. So when the ancestor card turns up in a reading, you are being reminded that the only thing that is truly permanent is impermanence. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to mourn, but you must let go. Life goes on. So, yeah, Cancer is like literally, it's going to go on. Like, you are not stuck being the wife of that person. You will always be the mother of those kids, but you have to find yourself. And if finding yourself is putting the end to something that has made you lose yourself, then you must do that. You must do that. Okay. If you receive the ancestors in a reading, consider the following. Every end is also a new beginning. The only thing that is constant is change. Put the past behind you and start over. Learn how to embrace the unknown. Do you know who your ancestors are? And y'all, when I was going through my divorce, this came out for me a few times. So, and like my mom went through a divorce, and like it's not too many marriages in my family, but like it's like my mom divorce was a lot different from mine. Like they were very quiet about it. They got along about it. It's like they had it planned out. Like when the kids turn this age and they go to high school or whatever, you know, we're gonna go ahead and go our separate ways. Like the relationship could have been over. Like it was a lot different. I do remember it very clearly, but mine was a lot nastier. Like we were just not compatible. It was something I was trying to force because, you know, I wanted what my mom and dad had. I wanted my family to have the same last name. I wanted my kids to be by the same man, but it was not it was in the cards. The only thing it was meant for me to do with that man was have my baby. That was it. So we got to learn to let God and let go. So, what does your lineage, ancestral heritage mean to you? In what ways are you and your ancestors the same? How are you different? Do you feel connected to your ancestors? Why and why not? Do you communicate with and or venerate your ancestors? If not, why not? If so, how? Do genealogy research or create a family tree? Okay, so Son of Baskets, that was really deep. I like the ancestors card. Okay, so the Son of Baskets, the plant for him is Maypop. The Son of Baskets, the image on this card is depicted as a little boy collecting Maypop flowers near Cumberland Falls in Kentucky, called the Niagara of the South. Cumberland Falls was considered sacred by many Native Americans. Moonbows, a rainbow produced by moonlight instead of sunlight, which are rare or common at Cumberland Falls. It is said that the flowers and herbs collected the day after a moonbow are much more potent and were sought after by local root workers. The meaning of this card is the archetype of the idealist. On the positive side, he is artistic, deep, inquisitive, unafraid of intimacy or commitment, and has the ability to see the bigger picture with a great sense of humor. On the negative side, he is immature, unpredictable, undiscerning, avoids responsibility, and is completely detached from reality, a loafer, or just plain dumb. In a reading, if he doesn't represent a literal person with these qualities, then he represents these attributes. So, yeah, it's time for you to put an end to this relationship of someone that is just not ready for the level of intimacy or feel like they have outgrown the intimacy in your connection. Right? And like I said, I always go to this book when I always go to these deck of cards when I want some hard truth. Like I always go here. And like I said, I got a little emotional because like I said, I've been through it, and anybody going through it, like I'm definitely praying with y'all. I'm praying for the kids. I'm praying for the whole family. But how you going about in your head, the worst case scenarios, like it's really not that bad. Starting over is not that bad. I mean, you have some tough days, but it's not as many tough days that you would have by staying in a relationship with someone that doesn't value you, that's just putting all the workload on you. It would never be, staying in something like that is never worth it. So, let's just get inner child message. All right, Spirit, what inner child message do you have for my Cancers? Inner child message for my Cancers. Inner child message for my Cancers. Inner child message for my Cancers. Growth. Embrace personal growth. Every experience is a lesson. The light side of growth is progress, learning, evolution. So that's what you want to see in yourself. Progress. You want to learn. You want to evolve. That's the light side of growth. But when you refuse to accept growth or accept progress and change. The shadow side, the part that you will be embracing, is stagnation, resistance, fear of change. So in both of these energies, we can both connect back to our inner child and, allow growth in our lives. With my first Cancer placement, like I said, don't resist your feelings. Don't be ashamed of how your heart feels because of somebody that played with you before. Take that risk, and like I said, one day you're going to take that risk and it's going to be worth it. You're going to be glad that one time, like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. But it might be the light to the candle that you need for that flame connection. Like, don't resist it. And of course, with my other Cancer energy, like, I'm most definitely rooting for you to embrace this growth. Like I said, I don't know how old you are. I don't know how many kids you have. I don't know how long you've been in your relationship. But none of it is worth considering to stay in a stagnant energy at all. None of it. You can start over at any time. Anytime. But Cancers, I love y'all so, so much. I hope it resonates. I hope it helps. I hope it guides you to where you want to go. And I will see y'all in the next reading. Love y'all.